can tell you all, if you looked on the website, no, I am not just Lowry. I don't know if you've looked her up. I don't look like her. She's blonde. I got dark hair. She's much taller than me. So designing your life in the age of algorithms, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Well, I'm going to share with you the mindful method approach created by Jess Lowry in the Mindful Studio. Both Amy and I went through now. Jess is the founder, creator of this, so you're probably wondering, well, what? For the better part of the last 15 years in the professional development realm, doing training for leadership, diversity, bias, and I left my job in Los Angeles and moved to Texas back at the end of 2021 and started consulting on my own, and I still do professional development training, workshop presenting, coaching, positive intelligence coaching. I could give a talk on that. So I have had to know and understand how people think and why people do what they do. And even within my coaching, it's how do I help people level up? And I am a self-proclaimed nerd in neuroscience. That is the core and foundation of my approach, which pairs very nicely with the mindful method. So let's get into it. Well, wait, one more thing I wanted to ask. So as I was preparing, what came up for me was a quote. How many of you have heard that quote? Left to my own devices. You heard that quote?
Yeah.
And are we now literally left to our own devices? Are these controlling us? Or what we're clicking on controlling us, right? Algorithms. And if algorithms are shaping us, how do we take our agency back? How do we take our agency back? So what's an algorithm? I'm sure folks know, but I'll just give you the definition. An algorithm is a set of instructions a machine follows to decide what to do next. Okay? It's a set of instructions. Now, algorithms influence us by learning what grabs our attention, giving us more of it over and over and over again. And then before we know it, it influences and takes over our habits, our emotions, even our beliefs. And that begins to shift without our awareness. Without our awareness. That's the definition of mindfulness, mindlessness, by the way. Mindlessness. How many people, I know I have, I catch myself mindlessly scroll through your phone. Sometimes I'll go on my phone for one thing and I end up getting distracted by another. Next thing, 10 minutes, I'm like on IG or whatever else. Like, and not what I had intended, right? Not what I had intended. So how do algorithms influence us? Well, they shape our thoughts through repetition, right? Clicking, scrolling, the more we like things, they trigger us emotionally. It's that hit. I'm talking about this, also called confirmation bias. Reward systems, likes, loves, and then identity shaping. This is shaping our identity without us realizing it sometimes. And let's talk about when a design pattern becomes a dark pattern. And we have these things influencing us. So what does it do? It has the user, it pushes the user towards, sorry, I gotta look here real quick. It works against the user. It works against the user's best interest. It pushes the user towards actions they didn't even intend, okay? It uses behavioral psychology to manipulate decisions. It hides its true purpose or intent. And opting out becomes difficult or even impossible. I don't know how many emails I get of things I didn't subscribe to, and this unsubscribe button is so small or I can't even find it. Yes? And when this is all doing that for us, that's reducing our cognitive effort. We're no longer thinking for ourselves. Now, let's think about these companies. They make money the longer we stay online. So the algorithm is designed to keep us scrolling and certainly not to help us think clearly. Now, remember that dark pattern, right? So when they know what content we're constantly clicking on, even if they know that it might harm us, right? Harm our emotions, our mood, increase our anxiety, polarize our worldview, and they still show us the same stuff. That's dark pattern behavior at scale. There's hope, people. There is hope, I promise. Yay, thank you. Yes, yes. So I'm going to introduce to you the 6 methods to design your life and how to become more mindful. How do we slow down? How do we end the mindlessness? So I'm going to go over each one really quickly, and then we will take a deeper dive. Now, here's the thing with the 6. They're simple, they're easy to model and teach and apply. So let's talk about mindset. That's all about taking that pause. I like to use the acronym STOP. The S is literally stop, take a breath, observe, and then you can either proceed or you pause again. Then we have understand. Anyone have kids here, or you've been around kids? What do kids always ask?
Why?
Why? Right? Why? They're curious. Well, we want to ask why. We want to understand and ask why. Then we have define. Know your values. Know your values. In my coaching, I find that oftentimes we know our values, but we don't really know how to articulate them or express them. And then we have create. This is all about creating one small action, one small habit to change. And then we want to measure. Now, measuring isn't about Excel spreadsheets. It's about noticing our feelings. And then finally, we have evolve. Once we create that small habit and we notice our feelings and we test out what kind of changes have been made, then we can change that one big influence, perhaps. And this is the system. Let's go into each one. So let's talk about mindset. Mindset. When we look online and something online makes you feel fast, and anyone know that book? It's by Daniel Kahneman, I think. I don't know if I'm saying his name. Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yes.
Yes, right? So that's what I mean by thinking fast, that surge, that hit. And is it making us feel angry, excited, scared, proud? That's that moment to pause. Just 5 seconds. No need to react to that surge. Let your brain catch up. So let's go ahead, if you wouldn't mind, and indulge me here. And let's practice this. We're going to do an activity. So we're going to stop. Hopefully no one's on their phones. Go ahead and take that breath. Just notice your breathing right now. Go ahead and breathe. Observe your breathing. Observe what that breathing's like in your body. And then we're going to proceed. And that's what you do. We stop, when you're scrolling on your phone, and you look away. And you decide if you want to pause again. Why does it matter? People who pause can't be manipulated. It's harder to manipulate when we pause. Okay. Second one, understand. Every post has a purpose. We want to learn to spot it. Why am I seeing this post? Who benefits if I click on this? Why is it making me feel this way? Is it for money? For drama? For control? Or just fun? Now, I can admit there are things I know that are on my feed that it doesn't make me feel good, but yet I kind of go down that rabbit hole. I go down there, and then afterwards I'm like, that didn't make me feel very good. Why am I doing this? Why am I listening to this person? 3, define. Your principles protect your attention. Your principles protect your attention. Take a look at some of these values here. We've got family, money, respect, freedom, fun, safety, health, belonging. If we don't know what matters to us, the internet is going to decide for us. It's going to tell us what's important. So either we define ourselves, or the internet, or the influencers, or the algorithms do it for us. So what I'd like everyone to do is choose 3 out of this list here. Choose 3. What's important to you? What do you value? What do you see as something that guides you and helps you to make your decisions? Pick 3. If you want, you can even write it down or type it into your phone. Method 4, create. Now, when we make big changes, it can be challenging. It's not always easy. But small habits actually work. We're going to pull in some neuroscience here. You know, we have neural pathways, right? And they have patterns to them. And when we're making changes, we want to interrupt that neural pathway. Now, we can't get rid of them, but we can interrupt them by creating small habits. Create one change that makes your feed less powerful or less influential on you. So here's some options. They're simple and doable. I heard someone laugh. Turn off your, you're like, that's not doable. All right, you were honest. No judgment. There's no judgment here. Turn off your notifications for one day. Just try it. See how you feel after. Just one day. Move your social media app off the home screen. I had to swipe a couple times to get to mine. Follow one uplifting person. Find some inspiring content to follow, just one. Unfollow that draining person. Maybe even set a timer. 10 minutes, I'm gonna scroll, do whatever, and then I'm gonna stop. Maybe even the time of day. I actually coached someone, and one of her areas of growth was time management. Emotions are your dashboard. Your emotions are your dashboard. So when you're online, even if it's for 5 minutes, ask yourself, do I feel better? Do I feel the same or do I feel worse? Take that 5 minutes, take that pause. If it made you feel worse, that's a sign. Your feelings tell the truth before your brain does. So when we get that hit, when we click, all of a sudden, the brain quickly sends stuff to your body to tell you that that doesn't feel good. And then we don't even know that our brain just did that, right? So our feelings can be like a compass. And finally, evolve. Change one influence in your life, just one, not everything. So when we run, let's say sort of that experiment, that one small habit, and then we check in and measure and see, well, actually that made me feel better that I turned my notifications off for that one day, actually felt better. There wasn't an anticipation of the notifications. Then we can evolve. We go, oh, you know what, I can actually do this. So pick one thing online that messes with your mood or pulls you off track or distracts you. And make that small change. Maybe you want to unfollow, mute, hide it, replace it. You can always go back. It'll be there. It'll be there for you. You can always go back. So I leave you with this. Slow down, ask why, choose what shapes you, and then you can really be left to your own devices. Okay. Questions?
Advance your slide one more time.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. I'm so terrible about that. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all, before we get started with the questions, I need to brag on Rachel for just a moment because she found out she was giving this talk less than 24 hours ago. So, yeah, there you go.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're quite welcome. I was impressed, and I just wanted people to also be impressed. So,
Thank you.
with that being said, who's got some questions for Rachel?
Oh.
All right.
Hope I can answer them.
Love it. Thank you so much. What's your question?
Immediately break your rule by not having multiple questions. It's germane.
It didn't look like anybody had questions, but
Yeah.
tell me your name first.
I can undo the question. I'm Des.
Des, okay, hi.
The first part is, can you give a list of which ones are the most toxic? Just maybe give us like 5 or 10 or 6 or 4. And then the second part is, it seems you've made a career out of doing this. Very insightful. You've thought about it a lot. Why can't people just uninstall? That's what I do. I
Yeah.
don't have any of these problems. And I'm just wondering why can't people just delete?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so the first question was which one was most, I forgot to mention about, yes, I did. I forgot to mention about the dark design pattern, right?
You mentioned.
But what did I, no, let me, I gotta get it out because I totally know give me just a second. Maybe not. Yeah, it was the 5, the dark, so typically, modern engagement algorithms hit all 5 most of the time.
Which apps are you referring to?
Oh, apps? I can't tell you which apps because I think for me, this is just really a personal opinion, and then based on my experience, is everyone's using different kinds of apps. I mean, it could be something as simple as scrolling through the news. I understand you don't so there's neuroscience to this. So our brain creates mental maps, right? And our brain just wants to make sense of the world, and our brain craves patterns. So if we keep hitting that part of the brain in that mental map with the same pattern and it's craving that, it's not going to look for anything else. Now, back back in the Ice Age days, right, like caveman days, I guess, if you will, our brain has evolved for those things, and that was designed to. How many of you have been on the phone, not on the phone, like it's on speaker, you're driving, and you don't know how you got home? Does that ever happen to you? You've been deep in conversation, you don't know how you got home? That's happened to me. Now, I know I didn't run any red lights, I don't think, or stop signs, but I got home. So that map in my brain helped me get home. So congratulations, perhaps you have brain wiring that you are able to unplug. Does that help?
Well, I just think if we know that it's bad for us.
We're getting into the realm of this being a conversation rather than a question and answer session. But I love the energy, I love where it's at, but we gotta keep it moving.
Oh, boy.
So with that being said, I'm gonna dance around a little bit and come back to this corner. Here you go.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have the exact opposite problem.
Yeah.
I have a hard time unplugging from like Blue Sky. I left Twitter, thank God, but
Okay.
I'm on Blue Sky now.
Yeah.
Places like LinkedIn,
Yeah.
not on Facebook, but social media.
Okay.
I work in tech and entertainment. This is where networking happens. This is
Yeah.
where a lot of my coworkers or hopefully future coworkers
Yeah.
exist. But it's also a place where I see a lot of stuff that makes me feel bad. So
Yeah.
how do I like separate that out? How do I find a way to exist on the networking website so it doesn't turn into the bad feelings website?
Yeah. Well, did you choose any of one of those options I gave of one small habit to create? Is that a no?
I could.
Yeah, right? And look, it doesn't have to be this big thing. Just try for one, even if it were. This is all about being very intentional. And so the fact that that's in your awareness now could maybe shift things just a little bit. That mere awareness and expansion of it could shift one thing. So if you thought, well, maybe one day, like for half the day, I'm not going to do that, that might make a difference. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, you had a question?
So you talked about the dark design where they do it to where we get addicted. And so for many of us, the gray line is some of the things we like can also be some of the things that make us sad. For example,
Yeah.
a lot of people in this room probably love like dog videos or puppy
Yeah.
videos. So
Yeah.
you'll see a cute one about puppies and outfits 1 minute.
Yeah.
And the next one is, how many puppies are euthanized every 10 seconds. If you like one thing, how it's hard, it just gives you all of that topic. So how can we get the things we like while eliminating them when they're so closely blended together?
Yeah, look, this is, for me, this is about doing a complete overhaul digital detox. Because again, like I said, the brain craves patterns. The brain wants to, there's those things embedded in now. So it's just, why don't I just take a pause? Doesn't mean you can't go back to it if it helps your mood. And I'm going to point to that one, maybe there's that one small thing. Because do you feel like it is causing you harm? Or having negative feelings?
I mean, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
they're designed to stir emotion one way or
Yeah.
another. And sometimes it's the same thing that creates positive emotion creates negative emotion. It's just a slight difference in context.
Yeah. I literally have, I don't ever give people suggestions of things that I don't do myself, even in my coaching. So I literally have one of those squishy balls and I wrote stop on there to remind me. So whenever I feel a surge, especially if it's negative, I'll look at that or I'll stop and I'll space it. Right? Just one small thing. Try it. You might like it.
All right. So, Nikki, do we have anything coming through on our Twitch? Nope. Okay, just had to check. All right, we're going to get up here with our friend B.
So I'm curious why you didn't mention this, and maybe it's because you don't do it or
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing is, as much as the algorithms can program and train our brain, we can do the same in reverse. So I just wondered why you didn't mention the ability to choose how your algorithm perceives you by how you engage with content, right? So on Facebook, I don't get ads I don't want because for 10 years, every time I see an ad, I click X.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, my question is, why didn't you mention this?
Why didn't I mention it? Because I learned about this talk 24 hours ago. But to your point, that speaks to the bidirectional relationship between neuroscience and algorithms, particularly AI, right? They use the brain, neuroscience, as a way to create the artificial neural activity, and then that informs then how the brain works and does all the things. And on one hand, it's a good thing, but then I think what you're speaking to is like ethical considerations for that, right? And she just gave you an idea, folks. You can actually control your algorithms. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. So let's give Rachel a round of
Thank you,
applause.
everybody. Thank you.